And now, here's your host, Bobby Likis.
With us today on Car Clinic is Walt Dorfstatter, president of OnStar. Walt, I want to welcome you to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Hey, Bobby. Happy to be with you and your audience.
Walt, tell us about the latest mobile app technology that's coming from OnStar.
Well, what we're introducing is OnStar Mobile for the Chevrolet Volt, the first fully functional and operational mobile app for an electric vehicle. The OnStar Mobile will define a completely new level of connectivity and control so that customers can easily manage the incredible capabilities of the Chevrolet Volt.
Now, why the Volt exclusively for this mobile app?
If you think about a completely brand new vehicle like the Chevrolet Volt and its capabilities, when you look at the fact that it's an electric vehicle with extended range, and you think about the kinds of things that are going to be really important to drivers and their ability to, frankly, have connectivity as well as control over that vehicle, we think it's really important. It's a perfect complement, and it actually will really improve the customer experience with the Chevrolet Volt.
Give us an overview of, let's say that I'm driving a new Volt. I would be the first if I were today. Give me an overview. I have the Volt. I have the app. How does it work, and how will it benefit me?
Let me start with the Volt is going to be smart enough to tell you a lot of very important things that you're going to want to know, like what the current state of the battery charge is. How's the current battery doing? What's its charge percentage? Whether it's plugged in. If it's plugged in, is it plugged into a 120 volt or 240 volt jack? Is it charging? If it is charging, when do you expect or when does the vehicle feel that the charge is going to be complete so that your Volt is ready to take you wherever you might want to take you at that point? So lots of information that will really tell you about how the car is doing. It'll also tell you something we call the brag bar. This ability to tell you either lifetime or last trip, miles per gallon, EV miles, or total miles. It'll tell you important things about itself. It'll actually take it a couple steps beyond that. So now, in addition to really knowing about how your vehicle is doing, you'll be able to control some aspects of the vehicle. One of the things, for instance, that you'll be able to do is we'll have some charge mode capability. How is the vehicle going to be charged? And one of them is something that we've termed grid-friendly. The ability to basically preset your charge time so that you can take advantage of off-peak electricity rates probably in the evening and also have less impact on the grid. So you'll be able to make sure that your vehicle is ready when you want, but also be able to control when it's going to be charging so that you can take advantage of those aspects that I mentioned. And you can go on and have that as your set schedule. But let's say, for some instance, you've gone through your day and you have it on your grid-friendly mode, which probably means it's not going to be charging until much later in the evening, but all of a sudden you decide you have one more trip you need to take. So you can basically just call up your app and hit Charge Now so that you can convert it and modify it so that you can affect its charging so it can be ready again so that you can plan your activities and your Volt will be ready when you need it. You'll be able to charge now. You'll be able to do some things like, let's say, I don't know about you guys and many in your audience, but I'll speak for myself here. I've certainly had that sinking thought that as you leave your vehicle, wondering whether or not you actually locked it or not, wishing that you had or you had something important that you want to make sure it was locked on. That fear or that issue will be completely gone because you can basically log on to your app, send a lock now, again, completely wirelessly from wherever you're at. You'll be able to lock your vehicle and get confirmation that it's locked, or unlock it for that matter. So there's a whole host of things you can do along those lines. Another one I'll mention, uniquely to the Volt, would be something we call remote start. In this case, it's really preconditioning the cabin so that it's a comfortable temperature for you. And being in Detroit right now in January, it can be pretty cold, or you could be in Las Vegas in August where it's hot. What you want to be able to do is precondition the cabin where you're still plugged into the grid because you're taking the advantage of the grid to do that and really preserving battery power for while you're driving.
And so when you're plugged into the grid and you call ahead of time, you actually wake up your car to the extent, and not the running part of the car, but the air conditioning of the car, and the AC compressor will actually run from the onboard battery via the plug-in capability of recharging.
That's right. You'll be able to cool or heat the vehicle to a predetermined temperature that'll make you comfortable. And again, off of the power of the grid so that you can preserve your battery power for driving.
It appears to me that this is just one more step in not only applications of smartphones, but also in other GM cars. So this technology, while it's exclusively for the Volt, as you say, certainly the applications are going to be applicable to many other GM products. So it appears to me that not only is GM on the turnaround, but GM is leading the leading edge technology. And I got to tell you, starting at '96 at the Chicago Auto Show, when the OnStar first came out, and then if you look at the Volt that you've just described, it's mind-boggling. Anything that you can imagine, you can almost do from the comfort of your own home.
Absolutely. A couple of things I even didn't mention in the Smart app. It's smart enough to tell you whether or not it's been plugged in and charging is going to be really important to you as a Volt owner. It'll tell you if somebody's interrupted charging. If a family member comes home and unplugs it, the power went out, it really doesn't matter. It'll come back and send you a notification, your choice, email, SMS, text, both if you choose, to let you know that it interrupted its charge, or if its charge is complete, if you're interested in that. When is the charge complete so it's ready to go? So I'd encourage anybody that's interested to go ahead and you can download the app to either an iPhone, a BlackBerry Storm, or the Motorola Droid, and you can log on to OnStarMobileDemo.com and actually download the app yourself and get an experience that will actually show you some of the interactivity of the app itself.
We're talking with Walt Dorfstatter, president of OnStar. Walt, would you give that website one more time? And you took the very thoughts out of my mind as we were talking with regard to the demonstration. It appears to me that as when I bought new cars historically, I would know more about that automobile just because I would go online and do my due diligence than even the salesperson when I picked the car up. And it appears to me that people with phones, you mentioned the Droid and the iPhone, the Google phone, I'm sure that's going to come online as well. The individuals that own those phones will know how to use this system even before the car hits the showroom floors.
Oh, absolutely. So that website is OnStarMobileDemo.com. And by the way, for those that may not have a smartphone, we'll also make a web browser available so that they could do it from web browsing on their phones also.
Okay, cross-application, other GM cars. Is it too early for you to spread that news, or can other GM owners, for instance, the new CTS-V, will that car have similar opportunities and availabilities using the same technology?
Well, at this point, we made it exclusive to the Volt. We're obviously, looking at different alternatives and opportunities of how to use this technology, and frankly, lots of other types of technology. But we're not in a position to make any announcements at this point.
Well, I can't wait for the car to come out, and certainly don't have to wait to test the system. Will that work for the iPod, or do you know the iPod Touch, or will it have to be the smartphone?
That's a great question. I know it's for the iPhone itself. I'm not sure if it's compatible with the iTouch at this point.
I want to thank you for taking the time. Very exciting about the OnStar technology and the next generation, as well as the Volt and its rollout. Looking forward to it. Be safe and continue the great work. OnStar rules, and GM is certainly on its way back to the top.
Thanks, Bob, and I appreciate the time with you and your audience.